Roll program confirmed. Go with throttle up.
You are now listening to the Dirtbag Block of Rock. I'm into clogging.
Nice.
You know.
You should be on my time zone then.
Right.
Look at all that kind of Appalachian stuff going on.
Every now and then, you just want to throw on them wooden shoes and you want to say, hey, come on.
This is it. We have
get you some of that.
A school here for like kids that do that stuff. It's like the Blue Ridge Irish Music School at Brims. And man, these little kids that go out there, man, they just clogging their asses off. It's phenomenal.
That is too cool for school, man.
It is pretty awesome.
Now let's jump into some of this, man. This is Mr. Greg Brown. You are the the original member now of Age of Fire. Is that correct?
That is correct. I am the last of the Mohicans.
You're one of the lasting survivors. That
the other guys are still kicking. They're just doing different pursuits. We were younger. We were young, wild teenagers. And,
sure.
Formed kind of in '88. Actually, the band I was in for middle and high school, disbanded. Everybody's going off to college and stuff like that. And
right.
I was in college. I was just kind of staying locally and hooked up with this guy Jeff, who's on drums.
Right.
And actually the bass player that was in my middle high band, and he was like, cool. And then we had actually opportunity to go up playing gigs in like Philadelphia and New York City and Jersey. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to travel. So we tagged in this other bass player, Clint, and it was great. And so we were a 3-piece metal band and, had a blast. We're just doing, thrash and stuff. It was great. We eventually started morphing into some more prog stuff, and we kind of changed, our alternative stuff. We kind of changed the name and things, and then we formally disbanded in '93, and that's when I kind of moved where I am now, and actually started studying classical guitar and classic technique. I mean, I got really burned out on the biz, and I wasn't really happy where the biz was going. I was not a grunge fan like many metalheads.
So flannel's not your jam.
Oh, speaking of Pearl Jam, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, for sure. So
me and flannel, I get a rash.
Flannel rock. Yeah, it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I mean, it's like I get it intellectually of why it happened. I mean, because definitely some of the hair metal stuff, more of the pop stuff, really kind of killed it for everybody.
Right.
But I was always listening to the underground stuff, and so it wasn't. It wasn't, but I mean, obviously that stuff's still kicking, but it took a huge hit, and the funny thing is really when America went grunge, the rest of the world, like just metal just grew and expanded and into all the, subgenres that we know and love today.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a totally different thing. So, but if it wasn't for like, Pantera or whatever kind of waving the flag in the 90s. I mean, who knows where we'd be at the moment? Because everything kind of happened. Dickinson left Maiden and Halford left Priest. And it was like, oh my God, what happened to Maiden? Or Metal? Metal's gone. What's going on?
It's like, no.
Yeah.
But you had your consistencies with Testament, right?
Yeah, for sure. They're very and Overkill. I mean, really one of the best consistent metal bands out there. I mean, they're always just doing it.
You can't go wrong. Now that we've gone down the path of what is it? Now that we've educated everybody on why and where and what, right?
Yes.
Let's jump into some of your stuff, man, because I'm really digging the 3 cuts, and now I'm just jonesing for more because what you got is you sent over 3 tracks. You got King, you got Judgment, you got Crystal Ball.
Right.
Now, when you're doing music, and everybody gets influenced by, everything, including like, lobster mac and cheese, and you've got what you sent was, like it was a buffet, let's say, because there are distinct different styles in each song, but you wrap it around with, and I may say, you, my friend, my brother, you have got some good chops. There's no getting around it.
Well, thank you.
And what I can see between the two now is it. You're right. Here's the mind jogging question. You deliberately want to throw in different stylistic kind of like frames of songs on an album, and what do you think about that? Was that the intent?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because, like, when our roots were very thrashy, and then
Mm.
obviously we kind of took a hiatus, and kind of few years ago, probably maybe like 3-4 years ago or so, I remastered some of the old stuff from reel to reel and popped it up on social media,
Right.
and I kind of just ran the mental by myself and kind of hired a drummer, and I did the guitar, bass, and drums and vocals. Sorry, not drums, but guitars and vocals and bass.
Mhm.
And in that process of we actually then started hitting social media, and then things just started spinning, and then we got signed. And in the process, I knew Mike and Laura. God, I've known them for too long, 25 years maybe.
Wow.
In some capacity. I mean, I sat in with Mike's band. Actually, oddly enough, in like it was like a '90s band, the late '90s, and then ironically, like, dude, we're playing this like metal tune, and like it was like his guitar player's like, yeah, we need somebody who can just like do a crazy shred and solo. I was like, yeah, I got that. Let's do that.
Right.
And so I mean, we played on stage, first time probably back in the '90s. But yeah, if you listen to the whole disc, so basically, and I love Laura's voice. I mean, I just love her voice.
Right.
And when we do. So there are the 3 tracks that she's actually on is what I sent you.
Great.
I think they're kind of the pinnacle of the disc. There's one old style thrash tune on it, which I'm on vocals, and then believe it or not, the rest are actually instrumentals, and even those
Wow.
kind of touch on stuff that are like, Nightwishy. There's one piece
Okay.
that's like piano and strings and just the guitars all over it. There's very different stuff. The disc starts off with some orchestration, but those the 3 tracks that I sent, I think with Laura on it are definitely, the gems and the jewels, they kind of really shine on the disc. I mean, she just brings it all to a whole new level. And so when we finally, got working together, the disc was probably, 60%, 70% done. So the cool thing we're really excited about is our next project. Like with the pandemic, we've been writing a lot. And
Right.
so
Taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, as much as you can, because nobody's doing live music, unless you're doing Kumbaya in front of your phone or something. And there's not really much going on, and it's a very different thing. So we're doing so we're super super excited to really co-write like an entire disc together, because we've all have different differences. I mean, she does like everything from like theater to Broadway to to rock and metal, and Mike's a big, 90s dude, and he's got different influences. And I'm classically trained. And then I got, the metal thing, growing up in the shredder 80s, going for me. So
Right.
it's just a different thing. But when I gets it all together, it works. So, but it's funny. Yeah. Laura always says that, like, there's like almost every disc on the album, like, touches a different type of metal.
It's true.
It's
It's true.
she's like, there's something for like everybody. So it's kind of hard. So I think what we're really trying to lock down probably for the next disc would be like, yeah, Age of Fire, they sound like this, and kind of really lock in our sound and our style, and then go that way. So, but yeah, no, we hit a lot. We hit the spectrum, the metal spectrum.
Very cool. And the new album's going to come out when?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, this one just came out in February, and unfortunately,
Hey, whoa, you said COVID. Yeah, come on now.
Wait, what was the question?
You've got there's the COVID running around. We got the COVID child keeping you inside. Come on now.
Well, I know. No,
you like that?
It's true.
Come on now. You can do one in 6 months, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, luckily we've been, this one came out in like the 3rd week of February, and everything was pushing. We had a lyric video come out with the label, before. Actually, the one for Judgment Day came out last week, cool. Which is kind of cool. And so we've been, but that's it. It was like, we're building, and oddly enough, I went to Europe for like the first week of March.
Wow.
And kind of hung out, and then I came back, and then like a week later, we're going to start rehearsing for doing shows in support of the disc, and bam, everything just shut down.
Yeah.
And here we are, and it's Thanksgiving's next week.
That is spooky how fast things are going.
Yeah. Time flies when you're just sitting around the house.
Yeah, you ain't like, hey, you're right. Well, I'm the kind of schlub that I've got to go out and I've got to find side gigs.
Sure.
Just for my sanity. It's kind of like, free money's cool if you just want to sit there. I mean, it's good. Free money's excellent, right. But it's just kind of like, nah, I gotta get my hands dirty. So, but back to the album, I'm very impressed. I like, what was that in that bio? It's very Grace Slick on the vocals. Or no, you said Joplin.
Oh, that was yeah, that was actually from a reviewer. That was from a magazine review
Gotcha.
somewhere.
I got more Gray Slick. I got a little bit.
Okay.
I got a little bit of that going more than the Joplins, because the Gray Slick is a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more ethereal for me,
Right.
and a little more tonal. So I'm voting for Gray Slick, and you can quote me on it because
Yeah.
I think that's doggone cool.
Yeah, no, she crushes it, man. I mean, it is phenomenal. I mean, and I definitely had the thrash voice thing going on back in the day, but I'm like, she just delivers. I'm just like, yeah, can you do this? Sure. Can you do it? Yeah. All right, I need so many harmonies. Yeah, sure. I'm like, oh my god. I mean, it's like, no, it's been a dream. I mean, just sonically, this disc for us has been like a huge leap. So we're like I said, we're kind of drooling at the possibilities of what's coming up. So hopefully we'll at least release a single or so after the first of the year, after
Very
the holidays, kind of get together and start doing some new stuff and do that and oh my god, and just hope we can get on stage and start playing.
Yeah, exactly. So are you now? How does it translate? Are you the kind of person that's kind of like, I've got to have it sound exactly like the CD, or are you going for, are you good with imperfections live?
Oh yeah, I've been doing this for a few decades, so
Right.
you get used to the imperfections.
You work with them.
Yeah, we're learning a whole lot of jazz these days. I mean, it's
Right.
yeah, you just got to roll with it.
Right.
Yeah, no, not so much. I mean, some things you do in the studio to kind of fatten things up and
Sure.
and harmonies and stuff. But I don't know, but and I guess I don't know. It depends. I guess it depends on the act. I mean, sometimes I still like a band that shows up there and they're just raw.
Right.
That can just can do it. And when everything's overproduced, it can be too much.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some bands that I love that are can deliver a killer production. That I'm jealous. Like, how do they do that? But I don't know. I'm like a garage band guy. I mean, that's how I grew up. And
Right on.
and just digging it and sweating it out in the garage in South Florida, and that was it.
There you go. Hanging out with the large bugs.
Very large bugs and gators.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You got things that grow in deep, smelly water.
Yes. And then when the water's everywhere, they just threw in a pile of sand there just to build your house. Absolutely. Yeah. That's where I grew up. Absolutely.
Well, excellent, my friend. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for taking the time out and talking music and talking what's going on with the band and everything. And I'm looking really forward to hearing the rest of the CD. Actually, I'm jonesing, and I'd like to thank Dirtbag for allowing this whole thing to happen. Because without them, they wouldn't be letting us flap our jaws. By God! So
yes, no, we're super excited to be working with them. That's fantastic. We're working on some new merch stuff that'll hopefully be hitting at least the web for a while, and then hopefully
there it is.
It'll be available at the shows in the future.
Again, thank you, sir. And when we get out on the road, it's going to be great to hear you guys. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. We're excited. We'll have to come out to Fresno and look you up.
Heck no, man! I'm coming to Florida, man. Shoot it, man! Come on now.
Do it. It's a wet heat. It's not the California heat. It's a very different type of heat.
It's not a dry. It's not a dry heat.
No, you can grab the air and make a water balloon. I mean, it's just a totally different thing.
Brother, thank you again, because it's always good to talk to some musicians that have been hiding under rocks and just doing their thing and just, slugging it out. And I gotta commend you on doing so for the last better part of 30 years. And
thanks.
You take that deep breath and get ready to hit the road, man, because this stuff is quality.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We're very proud of it. So we're excited to get out and meet people and take it to the stage for sure.
Right on, my brother. Again, thank you, and you keep safe out there. And
yeah, you do the same.
Hopefully, I'll be seeing you guys soon.
That'd be awesome. I appreciate it, man.
All right, brother, man. I'll see you on the road.
All right, take it easy.
Age of Fire and other Dirtbag artists, visit dirtbag.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dirtbag Clothing 1996. The Block of Rock is brought to you by Dirtbag Clothing, sponsored by EMG Pickups.